I don't know. I think I was going for the Gandalf beard. If we're going Amish, I'm trying to go for it a little further. Let's see if we can get down here, man.
No, I regret. I was just barely like chest.
Yeah.
Top of chest. I was like, I gotta trim it up. I feel bad now though. Right when you got out of your car, I'm like, fuck, I made the wrong decision.
This is the longest I've had it, actually.
Yeah.
I like it. It's fun.
No, it's weird. I'd never seen you with a beard besides a picture because you were always pretty clean shaven in high school.
In high school, I was. I haven't been clean shaven since, though.
Yeah.
I was rocking the goatee for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
But I actually, archaeology is why I ended up with the beard, is because I went out in the middle of the Idaho desert for 30 days and didn't have anything to shave with. So
and you're just like,
I was like, you know what? We'll just go with a beard. Why not?
How was it living up in Logan? Was it awful, or was it...
There were really cool things about living in Logan, and then there were so many awful things about living in Logan. Like, the summers up there were badass. Like, it was usually 80, 85. There's hiking, you can go everywhere. There's lakes you can go kayaking on, go bike riding. I mean, outside was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to the middle of winter, and it's like, so the first year I was up there, it was, for 20 days in a row, the temperature didn't get above 0.
Oh, wonderful.
And the first day I walked to my 7 a.m. math class, it was -5 with a 30-mile-an-hour wind. Wind chill was like -40. I was like,
oh, no.
This sucks.
Oh, no.
So that was a pretty crappy winter, I'll be honest. But there were some good things about Logan. I mean, I met a lot of fun people up there.
Yeah.
And there were, I mean, I don't really like hanging out with a lot of the LDS people, but that's because they don't like hanging out with me either. That's fine. I have nothing against them, but
fair point.
I mean, there was a large population of LDS people up there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there was a Church Street. I mean, the street wasn't actually called Church Street. It was just Church Street. It had two wards at the opening of the street. You drive down, there's another one on the left. Then you take like 2 more steps, and there's a parking lot that goes all the way through the block with three churches in one parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like, there's a large population of you, but yeah, so dating was kind of hard up there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I liked Logan overall. It was good. I don't think I ever want to live there again.
No, definitely not. I went to a concert down in or up in Logan, and it was what is it with high school that, like, we were talking about this for people who are listening. I do a book club. Make sure you go fucking watch it. Stop being lame. Selfless plug. We were talking about, like, you know, being out of high school for so many years. What is it about high school that is so defining? Is it because that's when we're finally maturing into who we probably will end up being later? Or is it just because it's so emotional and it's like this 12-year goal to finish? Like,
I think it's like a sum total of your life up to that point. Because, I mean, you start school when you're 5.
right.
I mean, let's be honest, you're not much of an individual at that point.
No, not at all.
It's ridiculous. I'm kind of glad I didn't go, but I just think it's like this. It's like the first milestone in your life, or I mean, first. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, because I was kind of, and like, I hate admitting to stuff like this because, like, you just never want to, like, truly admit that, like, all the adults are right.
Oh yeah.
High school is nothing like real life. Like,
high school is super easy compared to real life.
Yeah, it's like it's a cakewalk. And I'm gonna roast all the high school kids who listen to this right now. If you're not doing good in school, you need to tighten this shit up, dude, because it's not gonna get easier. No. You're not gonna walk out of high school and be like, oh fuck, freedom. That don't work. Freedom ain't free. It's expensive.
It feels like that when you walk out of high school, I'll be honest.
Yeah. That first year hits and you're like, where's the money coming from? How do these people do this shit?
Yeah, I did enjoy the freedom of college, but then it's like, looking back, it's like, man, those student loans, were they really worth it?
Yeah, Cody, I'll reach out to you, man. I'd love to have you on.
It'll be fun.
Especially any locals, like, who went to school with, like,
In this area, John, like, kind of the same age.
Right. It's just fun to...
Bullshit.
It's fun, too, to see, like, what was going on at the same exact time, like, you were doing shit, you know? Like,
Oh, yeah.
what was going on your block? We got into some shenanigans. We did some fun stuff.
Were you ever part of the... when it was me, Cody, whatever his name was.
Yeah. Cody Sam.
That was Samuelson. Thank you. Eric, Kyle, we'd drive around to steal people's lawn ornaments.
Yeah.
Were you ever part of that? Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was like, that was like one thing I remembered. And then there was the time that we tried to steal one of those like standing up giant windmills.
Oh, yeah. And I wasn't there for that, but I heard the story.
And it was like we couldn't actually fit it in the car.
That was some real hooligan shit.
Yeah, I feel bad about a couple of the things we took. I mean, some of those bear carvings we took were probably worth a couple $100.
Yeah. I don't remember if it was you guys or a different group, but someone stole like a marble lion. And it was like 60 pounds. And I'm like, that thing was definitely expensive.
A marble statue. Oh, funny.
Yeah, I was thinking about making a Facebook group for like the class. I'm sure someone has a Woods Cross channel, but
there wasn't one before the 5-year anniversary. I don't know if there is.
So is there like is there a lot of freelance work in that field that you could just pick up and do like for like temp work, or is it all?
Yeah, there's a lot of temp work. Like you can, it's a lot of seasonal, but. Yeah, I mean, somebody mentioned a Tomb Raider, which made me laugh because she's not an archaeologist at all. Neither is Mr. Indiana Jones.
No.
They're not, neither of them are. They're both. Tomb Raider is a good way of putting it. Literally, raiding a tomb.
No. I thought Indiana Jones was. I thought he taught, or did he teach?
He is an archaeologist.
Oh.
He does not act like an archaeologist.
Right. Because isn't it very like.
Okay, well, to be honest with you, filming archaeology and making a movie out of it would not make a good movie.
No.
At all. So, I see why they did what they did, but no, that was not an archaeologist.
Wasn't it very really rule heavy? Because like...
It is. You have to record everything. I mean, I made drawings of dirt.
Oh, wow.
And before and after drawings of a hole in dirt that I didn't find anything. And I had to measure down to the less than a millimeter of dirt. Wow. Lots of times. So
is that just... Oh, wow.
It's just to be like precise in your record.
Right.
A lot of it is the fact that, if you can think of a survey crew, you got to be as precise as they are.
That makes sense.
So, yeah, it's good work, fun work, but it's just doesn't pay much. Which is fine.
Yeah.
Without a master's or a doctorate, and I don't plan on going back for either at the moment. Maybe a master's, but not archaeology.
That'd be cool, like, later in life. At least in my eyes, like, because you already have the foundation. Yeah. If you had, like, a job that you could make, plenty of money, and then you're, like, in your older age, you're like, I'm going to go back and get that doctorate, and then you could do that for the final... before you retire.
Hurrah, if you're that'd be kind of fun. Or after you retire. I have a degree in anthropology.
Oh.
Which is not necessarily all that useful. It's got some good paying jobs.
Yeah.
A lot of them are very you live like a nomad. So, I'm not really sure they're for me. Because, you work 10 days and then you're off for 4, and then you work 10, 4, and you could be all over the western United States.
Right.
So, it's just not... I just didn't like the lifestyle, because that's just not... I like having a home base.
Yeah.
I don't want to live in a van.
I get that. It definitely... There's something... There's a lot of stuff you take for granted when you're younger, but then when you start getting older and realizing the bigger picture, you're like,
yeah. It's
nice coming home to a nice, cool house with food in the fridge and, cold drinks. And you're like...
Yeah, and, I really enjoyed some of the work, because it's like you get... I got paid to go camping and hiking. That's literally all I did. I got paid to do that, and I was just like, that's awesome. But, man, it's just not what I want to do in my life.
So with anthropology, is that more of, like, what's the word? Like, collecting data on different
So mine was more of an emphasis in archaeology. So I specialized in archaeology, and so I was actually going out like on BLM land and doing surveys.
Oh wow.
So I'd walk for 10 miles in a line, a GPS line, for 10 miles and figure out what I saw. On those 10 miles, I'd be staring at the ground the entire time.
Right.
I found some really cool stuff.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Like I found a metal arrowhead. So what it was is it actually, in about late 1800s, the Native Americans started using the sheet metal that the colonists were bringing out to make arrowheads. And they're like almost impossible to find because they rust away.
Right.
So we found one of those. That was really cool. We found a couple like projectile points that can date somewhere between 10 to 13,000 years old.
Oh.
So I mean, it was just like this really cool history stuff, and I love history.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you find some of these things like that, and it's just like, man, this is like the things this thing has seen in 10,000 years. It's like, what is going on?
Just the fact that it's even... I've never held anything like that, you know? Like,
yeah,
in your
well
hand.
you probably have, because I mean, if you think about it, a rock is a couple 100,000 years old, but you just never think of it like that. A man-made object that's that old is just really rare.
Right.
So,
like I have a trilobite, and it's like dated super old, but we didn't make that.
yeah.
But thinking of something like us,
Someone sat down and manufactured that and used it.
right?
You know?
That's crazy. Did you get to keep it, or did it go to a museum?
No, it was against federal law to keep it. It was we collected them, and they probably are curated by now. I don't know where they're at, but yeah, on federal land, it is actually pretty hefty felony to collect anything like that, cultural resources.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on that side that I think it'd be. I mean, what if you take it right and you want to keep it for yourself? I mean, what are you gonna do? Sell it? If you're
There's
that
actually
kind of asshole?
there is a large market for that actually.
Really?
In Utah, there's been a lot of the federal government coming in and breaking up rings like that. So, but the interesting thing is generally if you own the land, you own the cultural resources. So a lot of the people are collecting stuff on their own land, which the government really can't do much about, which is fine.
Right.
But
let's see. School's 2000.
After last year, I worked about 500 hours of overtime. I was pretty done with that.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I was pretty done with that.
Yeah, I would have been done with that 200 hours into overtime. You kidding me?
Yeah, my week started at 50 hours, and then I think the most I worked in 1 week was a little over 80.
Money's nice, but man, I can only imagine.
Wasn't that nice?
Yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, what, if you're working 80 hours a week, what do you do on your off time?
Sleep.
Besides sleep? Nothing.
Sleep.
Yeah.
Got there at 4 in the morning and left somewhere around 7 or 8 at night, and then immediately went home and went to bed and got there at 4 in the morning again.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, let me tell you.
Well, I'm sure they're hurting, though, because, I mean, they lose someone who's that dedicated because they don't want to pay.
Well, it's hard to find good help in that industry right now, and my favorite question I got all the time is when they found out I'd have a college degree, the first thing they said was, "What are you doing here?" Every single person, and I was like, it pays the bills right now.
Right.
It's, and they're like, "Well, you seem so good at it," and I was like, if you're gonna do it, why do it half-ass? You might as well do it full-ass.
For everyone listening, please listen to that advice.
Because it's just like,
don't.
I mean, if you're gonna do it, why not do it great? Like, as a forklift operator, I ran a forklift in Logan for 5 years while going to college. They can be fun,
Yeah,
and boring at the same time.
I did a little bit of forklift operating down at a job I only worked for a short amount of time, but
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
yeah. I love heavy machinery and have like 7+ years of heavy machinery operation. I just don't know if it's where I want to be in 10 years from now.
Right. Well,
So-
I mean, plus just the fact that the wear and tear on your body and the
Wear and
lack
tear
of
on my
sleep.
vehicle. I mean,
Yeah.
driving into a muddy pit in the winter every day. Oh, I had like 2 inches of mud on my truck when I finished that job. It was ridiculous.
So what did you get your degree in? The thing that I've experienced doing this now is like people will come up like don't get me wrong, I don't want anyone to think that I like get recognized or anything. I don't. It's only happened once, and it made my day. Taco Bell down here. Guy was like, "Oh, do you do a podcast?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, that's cool." And then it got awkward because I didn't know what to say. I'm like, "Damn, dude, can I have more Baja Blast?"